They are desperate, poor, vulnerable, persons living with disability. They make up a vast underclass in Kenyan society, enduring years of neglect.
Kwangu mimi ninaona tuko kwa soko na sisi ndio goods zenye zinauzwa. Sisi ndio yenye inawekwa pale kama viazi, mwingine anakuja anatuuza na yeye anaendelea kutajirika na sisi tunaendelea kuwa hoyahe.
They have become prized possessions in the battle for government funding, caught in a web of corruption.
He was interrogating me as if I'm a thief. Hey, no!
Locked up like prisoners. They live in fear. The government and foreign donors release billions of shillings every year.
Wanapiga walemavu picha. Wanapiga walemavu picha. Kama si mmoja, ama si wawili, ama vikundi. Hiyo picha wanapeleka Ulaya. Wanasema hao wataka usaidizi. Kumbe zile pesa zikija zinaingia mwao.
But with weak controls and ruthless profiteers, much of the money ends up in the pockets of a few. They operate in secrecy, covering their tracks when confronted, destroying evidence. Come with me, Sophia Wanuna, on a journey across Kenya that reveals the shocking truth about the disability movement. An internal memo dated 17th December 2008 in the office of the Vice President, Ministry of Home Affairs, the then parent ministry for the disability movement, first caught our attention. The memo in part read, quote, "The disability movement since 1990s reportedly is infiltrated by a powerful clique of 20 well-known personalities, with or without disabilities, controlling and dictating a gender of the disability for their selfish ends. They also control country and regional disability desks in most international charitable organizations. In this view, intended funds solicited for the benefit of the disabled persons do not reach the target." End quote. We began our investigation by visiting various parts of the country to get a first-hand look of day-to-day living of some of the persons with disabilities. We traveled to Mombasa City. What we find here is heartbreaking. 13-year-old Salim Hassan lying on the floor. Salim is mentally handicapped. He also suffers from Down syndrome. He cannot move. His condition has been deteriorating. His parents, Hassan Msoy and Mweupe Mwinyi, seem to have lost hope. Hassan and Mweupe say the cost of caring for Salim is a major burden on the family's finances. With a family of 6 children, putting food on the table is enough of a challenge. The poor diet the family survives on is not enough for a growing boy with Salim's needs.
Kuna lishe bora hajapatikana. Ukenda kwambia daktari mpaka kesho. Kenda kesho kwambia daktari mwenye kuhusika na mambo hajaingia. Sasa tumekaa ndipo tunafanya huduma tu za kinyumbani hivyo.
Worse still, in his body lies a broken needle. Doctors had inserted it partially to allow him receive medication. However, his mother could not afford to take him back to hospital to have it removed. A desperate mother, Mweupe attempted to remove it herself. It broke, and part of it remained inside his body. There was a time when families like this had no lifeline to reach for. They often locked up their children at home. But now the government releases millions every year to cater for persons living with disabilities like Salim. Salim's parents say they have visited various government offices in the region and found no help.
Chief ndo alisema tunde chama cha wazazi wasiojiweza liko ni area hiyo. Sasa ndo tupate msaada through hiyo chama. Kama kuna msaada inakuja. Maofisa wanatembea. Kila tuliuliza wanasema bado tujapata, hakuna mwangaza wote tumepata.
They even registered with Philadelphia, a local non-governmental organization for persons with disabilities, 3 years ago in the hope of getting funds. 2 days after this interview, Salim died. The question is, where do the funds go? Desperation and hopelessness is also seen in these parents' faces. They have been waiting for help for more than 2 years. The long wait has stunned many cynical.
Kusema kweli nafanya kusikia pesa serikali imetoa vizuri, lakini sijui pesa zinapotelea wapi hapa hewani.
Wale wanaopata pesa hapa ni watoto wanaopata pesa kusaidika. Ni wale ambao wako na watu wao viongozi pale.
Hizo pesa zatolewa tu huko bara, so huko. Zatolewa huko na tukiangalia tujapata ufahamishi kama watu wajua zatolewa huko bara basi.
And the story is the same from frustrated parents and groups around the country.
Every year during the time budget is being whatever, we can hear that some money have been released for persons with disability. But we usually ask, who are these persons with disability? Because like now in Githuguri, we have so many groups, but even if we inquire from one another, we find that the situation is the same, so we are not helped. So we feel that if that is the situation in the whole country, maybe some money falls in the wrong hand.
There are some unscrupulous people who are using their disabilities to source for funds, deceiving unsuspecting donors that the money will go to help persons with disabilities. Worse still, through our investigations, we were able to uncover the rot in the topmost office in the disability movement, the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. An insider privy to the shady dealings in the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, NCPWD, helped us uncover the corruption in the disability movement and how some unscrupulous people use their disability to source for funds, deceiving unsuspecting donors that the money will be used to help persons with disabilities, only to divert the funds for self-gain. Through our investigations, we were able to uncover one of the ways the National Council for Persons with Disabilities and the United Disabled Persons of Kenya, UDPK, are robbing people with special needs. In 2009, a dispute arose over who should get some 200 million shillings allocated in the national budget to persons with disabilities. The Kenya Society of the Mentally Handicapped, KSMH, took the National Council to court, challenging the use of the money. The Persons with Disability umbrella body United Disabled Persons of Kenya enjoined itself to the suit as an interested party. Our source informed us that the lawyers hired by UDPK to represent them in court were to be paid 7 million shillings in legal fees. A plot was then hatched between the National Council and UDPK to cover the lawyers' fee. The plan was simple. UDPK was to write a proposal seeking 15 million shillings to fund a project. The National Council would approve the proposal and release the money. Our informant also told us that 7 million shillings would go to pay the lawyers. The other 7 million shillings would be divided among officials of the two bodies involved in the plot, and the remaining 1 million shillings would be used in one of their programs. With the 15 million shillings proposal at hand, we began our investigations. We headed to Rongai, accompanied by 2 private investigators. Our mission: to question the UDPK treasurer Peter Wango about the plot to fund a 15 million fake project. We presented the proposal to him. He denied everything. However, minutes after we left his office, Wango, who is deaf, handwrote a damning letter to UDPK chairperson Helen Obande. The letter in part read, "Helen, oh, the cat is out of the bag and the Anti-Corruption Commission is on the trail, investigating why UDPK paid lawyers to defend NCPWD using council money. They even have the copy of a proposal you sent to the National Council. We are now working with hypocrites and I do not know whether they got the proposal from the National Council or from the UDPK officers. Be alerted on how to cover the issue. Please tear this letter after reading and find ways to cover the money used to pay lawyers as you can from the council. Be cool and do not abscond. Also alert Phoebe if she is to find ways on how to solve the issue. Peter Wango." On getting a copy of the letter, we decided to return to Peter Wango's office to confirm whether in fact he was the author of the letter. The handwriting was the same, and through a translator in his office, he owned up to the letter.
He wrote this letter minutes after we left his office.
Yes, he confirms.
No, say it again.
He confirmed the letter. Sorry? He confirms, he says he confirms the letter.
He, however, insisted that he was innocent.
He says that the fact that you guys came to him shows that there's something that is out of the bag there. That's it.
Bank documents in our possession show a payment of 3.9 million shillings was made to the lawyers. It is unclear if or how the other payment was made. United Disabled Persons of Kenya chairperson Helen Obande, to whom the letter was addressed, rejected our request for an interview.
Hello, is this Helen Obande?